Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Dr. Ria.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
ma'am.
Good evening,
So,
ma'am.
good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
So, we start today's sessions. I'll just wait for one more minute and then we'll quickly move on to the activity. So, all these 3 days we have been discussing about the theories. So, today we are going to do some practical application of one of the techniques which is generally used with children while you are opening the session. So I had asked you all to do one short activity. Could you complete that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Others who haven't been able to complete the activity, I'm just repeating it again. What you need to do is take an A4 size sheet. You can have a smaller one also, this size also. Children who are reluctant to start off with the session, you can always have a smaller piece, okay, rather than working on the entire sheet. Okay, so what you do is take the sheet, give them a pen or a sketch pen or whichever black marker, whatever you have, and then you can also do it with them. You ask them to just squiggle, just move on the paper without lifting the pen. So it would be more like just taking your pen and then moving around the paper in circular motions and zigzag motions, whichever way the child wants to go around doing that particular act. So you can also give them a demonstration. You can do it for a brief period of time on a similar sheet of paper and ask them to continue doing it. So what we do is I'll just do mine just to demonstrate. I'll show start from anywhere. There is no right or wrong. Just a minute. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's just they need to flow in and loosen up themselves. So this way, if we start, it would be like starting anywhere you want to. It can be zigzag straight lines as well. I'll show you, but I just for me it would be curvy lines. For the child, it may be a zigzag line. So there's no right and wrong. And as long as he or she wants to go, you can allow them to just wiggle around. So I feel if I want to go more, I can do that. So if the child wants to go further and further, let them till they stop. Okay. So this is the way they can do it. Alternatively, you can have one child who can you know, just maybe, and then it's done. Both are correct. Okay, it's just 2-3 seconds. They can go on for minutes. Both are correct. As long as they want to squiggle. But you will see most often once they get into that act, they will keep on doing it till the time they feel relaxed. Okay, you can motivate them, but do not instruct them to start and stop at one point of time. They can start on their own will, stop at their own will. So everything is correct.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can they overlap
Yes.
it?
Yes, it will be overlapping. As you can see
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here,
Okay.
the entire thing is overlapped.
Okay.
Okay, and this one is basically just just going through the paper and then that's all. I've finished. They'll come and tell you I've finished. Okay, these are important cues as well when you are observing them, because a child who wants to take more time, there's a lot of things which the child wants to pour out. And on the other hand, if you have a child who has just done this much, it shows some form of resistance in speaking out, or venting out, or even talking about the issues which are going on, or maybe a sign of restlessness. The child wants to finish off things very fast. Okay, so this will give you a cue as to the temperament of the child. It's called squiggle drawing, yes. Okay, so this, after you do this, in this entire thing, I'll show you another squiggle which may surface, a very balanced one. There are different types. One second, please.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Then both side of paper?
No, I'm just demonstrating it to you. When you're doing it, just do it on one side of the paper. Okay, I'm just using this paper.
Okay.
There can be such scribbles also. I don't know, something's wrong with the pen. It's not working. There can be loops and there can be certain, zigzag lines. That is also correct. So whenever the child does anything on the paper, through this basic instruction, there is no right or wrong way of doing it. It's just how they are engaging in this activity. It's just the process, not the product. Okay, so after they are done with this, I'll draw another one, which is more or less, you will see it's a balanced one. Neither too crammed up nor too spacious, and there will be enough space in between. Okay, mostly the paper is filled and you have enough spaces. Now, moving on to the next step, what you will instruct them, you can stop here as well. If you feel that the child doesn't want to open up further, then it's okay. You can take your time, and then, maybe next day you can take this up. Or this is a very quick activity. If you have very short period of time and you want to engage with the child, you can start off this. If you want to go deeper, what you do is tell the child that, just get into conversation and ask him or her to spot out certain objects or things which they can find in their particular piece of work, and just simply color that portion. There is again no right or wrong. If they ask you, can I say something which is maybe not a thing or a person? You said yes. Anything which you see, there's no right and wrong answer.
I'm like,
Keep on
I have
repeating.
I have done this. Can you see this?
Mhm.
When scribbling,
You
I
have
have
colored balloons, right, ma'am?
yeah, balloons. Yeah.
Yes. Perfect. So as I'm saying, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Anything can surface. Your thing can be totally different from mine. And if you want to engage with the child through this activity, you can do that. You can do your own set of things. Okay, maybe something comes up and you start discussing, see, this has come up. It's so interesting. So just to build that interest in the child, you ask them to color certain portions which they can observe in the drawing.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I wanted to ask that if a child see any image, what does it means? Any image reflect
See,
anything?
meaning and all, you have to delve deep. I would suggest not to go into it right now. There's a separate field of work called drawing analysis for children. So that is very, very deep. It cannot be done within half an hour slot. So what I would suggest is let it be non-directive. Non-directive in the sense you just ask them to spot something, and then I'll come to the next step, what you need to do with that. Okay. Maybe for me, I can see a pizza over here. So I just color that portion quickly just in order to show you all. For each of you, you may have symbols which are coming up. See, analysis of symbols is more related to Freud's psychoanalysis, the symbol analysis, as well as Jung. So if you study that portion, it is very, very in-depth. And you need to read up a lot, you need certain guidance in that. It won't be possible within a half an hour slot. So you need that special training for it. But I'll still give you a brief overview of it, how you can go about it. Say, for instance, I've colored this in blue and red. This also indicates that nothing is right or wrong. A pizza, the child can color in blue. It's up to the child what he or she wants. So this is what has come up. Now, how to proceed with the session? You can further initiate that what all other things can you see in the drawing. Okay. If the child has blocks, if the child is not opening up, what you can do is ask the child that, will you be able to tell me a story about your pizza? It's like personification. Whatever they are coming up, you can start off with the story. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes to work on your story and then let's see how it goes. So once you are instructing the child, it would be more of asking the child to have a beginning, a body, and an end. So it starts off, the story starts off, what was happening, what is happening, and what will happen. These are the threads which you can connect.
Ma'am, also,
Yes, ma'am.
what if the child is not able to detect any image and he just stuck? So what can we do on that?
You need to move on to some other activity in that case that shows a lot of mental blockage. Maybe you can loosen up the child with some physical motor activities before engaging the child in certain fine motor activities. Okay, maybe what happens if the child is under a lot of anxiety and stress, the kind of functioning memory or the imagination skills or the creative skills get blocked. Okay, so it's an indication that some amount of catharsis is required for the child. Maybe you can engage the child in scribbling, vigorous scribbling. Maybe not at the first session, maybe in the eventual sessions, you can ask the child what they are seeing, maybe through a different kind of activity. Whatever it is, see, this is not the ultimatum. These are few options or tools which you can have in your counseling session. But it doesn't mean that you have to do this. Okay, depends on each of these children how they take up each activity. If they are not comfortable with that, leave it. Don't enforce anything from the very beginning. You may just suggest, as I told you, you can suggest, but do not enforce any activity. Apart from a few necessary analysis, as we have the TAT first card, we generally give it to all children who come. Okay, so that is one thing. Then HTP, house tree person test. All these are certain mandates which we have and we subtly put it across. But if the child doesn't at all want to engage, we don't force them generally. Okay, so
Excuse me, ma'am. So we should say, what are you seeing in this picture? What in present, in future, and in past?
No.
Things we should
I
ask.
said whichever symbol comes up. Okay.
Okay.
For instance, mine was pizza. So what I do is build a story around that pizza.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
They may have other characters also, but the prime story would be about the pizza. Something happening around the pizza.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. If there are more symbols, they can incorporate more symbols into that.
So the story can also go through going through many symbols together.
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Ma'am, can the child find any emotions also? Any type of emotion?
Yes, anything. It can be anything. It can be people, it can be emotions, it can be anything abstract, it can be some object, it can be food items, anything. But it will always have personal meanings to the child in the the subconscious realm. But that's the drawing analysis part. But this we are doing is just for a conversation starter. If there are certain blocks, if you don't know how to start off a session, you can always engage. This would be fun as well because a lot of coloring is done. A lot of squiggles, even the squiggles. If you go by your experience, you feel lighter when you're doing it. You become more mindful into the activity. You forget about the other worries. Okay. So this is just an icebreaker or a starter activity with children when they're coming to you for the first time and they don't even know you properly that part. So I guess you are done with your story or you need a little bit more time? It should be a short story. If the child wants to write more, you can encourage. But if the child has 3 sentences which has a starting, which has a middle and an ending, that's more than enough to understand what is actually happening in their lives. And you can center all conversation around it. This is also great for older children and even adults. When you start observing your own drawing, you will be able to understand what is exactly important to you at this moment or what's happening right now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, you mentioned something like house tree test. Can you throw
Tree
some
person,
light on
yeah.
it? Can you throw some light on
House
it?
tree person test is a valid test which is widely used everywhere. Okay, it's called HTP, and there are certain meanings to each of the elements in house tree person test. So it is a totally different area of work.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, will it be possible for you to share some manual or something about if you have it, the test, so we
So
can?
we have it. We generally talk about it in our advanced child counseling courses.
Okay, it's in advance.
But
Okay.
for this, it would be too short. You just get half the information.
Okay, ma'am.
Generally, drawing analysis and HTP is combined together.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And can I start?
Yes, please.
Like I wanted a balloon. My father bought me one. I loosened it to fly high and feel happy watching it.
Okay, sorry, come again, please, ma'am. The first sentence.
I wanted a balloon. My father bought me one. I loosened it to fly high and feel happy watching it.
So, what are the emotions you are attaching to it? How are you feeling?
Happiness.
Okay. And any other emotions or memories which it is bringing back?
I was very keen to have it and I got it. So that was a happy point for me. And then when I lose it to fly high, and it again gave me a great happiness that how it is reaching heights and flying free in the sky.
Okay, and the balloon in your drawing, how does it associate with something which is actually happening in your life?
Maybe I want to reach any height, or I want to feel like flying high in the sky, or want to be free from my responsibilities.
Perfect. So we are not getting into the details of it. It's a very personal information only done during a counseling session. But you see, you yourself observed what is important to you right at this moment.
Yeah.
Okay, it is not something which you are giving it to the children. It is something that you have created. You are finding meaning, and you are only connecting to your waking life.
Yeah.
It's a great activity for older children because that's the moment when they start thinking that yes, this is actually happening, and then they start trusting in the process you are doing. Okay, for younger children, you don't have to connect anything. Just go by the story. That's your input. Okay, that you are supposed to analyze. You're not going to ask how can you relate a balloon to your everyday waking life. They will not understand what you're saying. So it is like, okay, the balloon looks very nice. How does it feel while it's flying away? How does it feel? So that means you are assigning certain meanings to the objects which are drawn. Say, for instance, I've written about my pizza, and I
The
can still
connection is
relate.
lost, I think.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. Ma'am, I think there's some problem with the internet. Okay. So for my piece of work, it is more like I have written, why is the pizza blue? Because I've just done it as per my own needs. I did not think before coloring it. But still I eat it, but I feel sick. I can relate that. I can relate to an extent about what's actually happening with me. Maybe I take too much of work and then I generally do it, but then I feel stressed out. So that can be one cycle which I'm going through. Okay. So whatever you're writing, it will relate to what's actually happening with you in your waking life. For younger children, please be cautious not to give them any analysis, not to ask them what it means. You just go by the story. Okay, you just understand what they are saying, and by the story's feel, you can understand whether they want more of love, more of freedom, more of hearing, or there is a lot of aggression in the story. Okay, so you will find such elements, the emotions. Try to focus on the emotion of the story, how it ends. Whether there's a happy ending, whether there is a very aggressive ending, or whether there's a sad ending. And you will instantly get how the child is feeling at that moment. So this is a very quick and effective, yet very powerful activity. And it sets the tone, when younger children engage in this, it's more like they have fun doing it. So don't go into any deeper analysis with them. Just let them enjoy the thing, enjoy the flow of things, and then they start talking. For older children, you can start talking about certain associations. Say the preteen age group. They have already started thinking about themselves, what's happening in their life, what are the conflicts. So I'll just briefly tell you what stages we have gone through. The first stage would be your observation. The general flow of this activity would be observation. Very importantly, you need to observe the child who's engaging in this activity. As I've told you, the flow of the pen, the pressure of the pen, how much there is on the paper. If there are too many things, that means a lot of it is bottled up. If there's too little, it may indicate hurriedness, restlessness, an anxious mind, and a need to finish off the work, or even resistance. I don't feel like coming here, that kind of a notion. And then what symbols are coming up and what it exactly weaves around, or the meanings to it. If a child is reluctant on writing something, you can always ask them, like, how about the pizza? Can you talk about its color? And what made you color it blue? If I have to take my example. Or even if it was a normal pizza, okay, I see you've drawn a pizza. So food means a lot, isn't it? Or is it? So you ask questions surrounding that symbol, and generally you will find a lot of answers from them. And then they start talking. No, my mother doesn't give me pizza. Okay, I understand that your mother doesn't give you pizza. But what else does she do for you? So there can be a mother-daughter conflict there, where the child refuses to behave herself at home because the mother is very strict. So that's the cue you have to take up or pick up from the conversation. And avoid writing anything in front of the child. You can have your notes, maybe very brisk notes. Am I not audible?
You are, ma'am.
Kiran,
You are audible, ma'am.
I think, ma'am, there's some network issues from your end. Okay, so in case
Excuse
you
me,
have to
ma'am.
find out those proper cues.
Ma'am, can we record
No,
in
I'm
voice
already
recorder?
recording. It will be on.
No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm asking.
Oh, acha.
Yes.
Okay, you're talking session. No, no, don't do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't do that without permission. You'll get into trouble.
Okay, ma'am.
You will get the recording.
Arre.
No, no, she's talking about the counseling session which she wants to
Yes,
record
ma'am. Yes.
with the child.
Okay.
Yes.
I understood that, but
Ma'am, what
it's,
will you
it's not.
That is with the permission you have to do.
Yes, you need permission, but what I feel, you shouldn't be recording the sessions.
Yeah, that's
Makes the child very alert.
ma'am,
But you can do it.
what do you mean by brisk writing? I mean, if I want to
Sorry?
write, what do you mean by brisk? Just briskly write the point.
Briskly means you can have your own keyword writing system. You don't write
Okay.
word to word verbatim. Okay, you can write down a few words which are surfacing in your counseling session, because you have to pick those words as well. That will give you a lot of cue, especially with children. So maybe a few notes you can take, but do not start writing whatever the child is saying. You have to remember a lot. So you have to work on your memory system as well. Okay, so after the child leaves, you can take 5 minutes to write down your session notes. But it's better be avoided in front of the child. That's what I'm saying. And while you're observing, you have to observe when the child starts off and when the child finishes. So a rough time frame. Time is also extremely important in child counseling.
Dr. Ria, are you going to discuss about the documentation part in this course?
Documentation, no, not in details, but yes, if you are, if you want to take up documentation in a very serious way, it would be better if you have a template with you, a common template with you. I'll send you a draft, okay? I'll send you a draft, but there are many more elements into documentation. It's not only a one-time thing. You need to have separate files. You need to have separate files for classes or by age group. And then you need to have kind of a number, because this child coming to you in this year may come to you next year as well. It would be a continuous process. So all the documents of the psychometric test also needs to go in there. And if you have an online system of recording for forms, you can also do that. Especially now it's happening. Can everyone mute yourselves, please? Even online recording is happening now because we are all into online sessions. So you can do it through a common form, as we say. Google Forms or something like that in your mail, where you have all the records of the session stored in. In fact, that is a good idea. You have everything on soft, so you can access it at any point of time from anywhere. But hard copy also, you should have a spreadsheet or an Excel sheet where you keep on filling up your data. That's a huge task, and it keeps on going forever.
This intake form,
Especially during
this intake form, we have to keep separately, right?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
The first intake form, we have to keep separately, right?
Yes.
And then the progress
Intake
notes.
forms are right. Intake forms in schools are generally from filled up by the teachers or whoever has recommended you the child. They fill it up according to their own viewpoints, and then you have your own notes attached to it, and then you keep on progressing with it. So it has to be either an ARC file where you file up everything one after the other. And segregation is extremely important, because maybe you start off with a small number of children, but it will keep on growing. So it's always good to have separate age group files or classroom files, as we say. and then that too in alphabetical order. You get those tags where you can attach those and then refer back along with an Excel spreadsheet which you keep on filling every day. Like whichever children are coming to you, you keep on filling what activity you did and what was the outcome and what's your observation. And what will you do further with the child? The planning is there. The entire spreadsheet is there for the year or for the
Recently,
session.
I found a template. It's called SOAP Notes. SOAP template. SOAP.
Mm-hmm.
That is very shortly you can note down all the.
Right. SWOT is used everywhere. It's not only with children, but
Yeah.
then it becomes very cumbersome for you. You can have your own systems as per your own needs. You can always refer to it, but then again, you can have your own system of working. There's no hard and fast rule that you have to follow this template strictly. But for sand play and all those things, you have a specific template.
Detailed we have to.
You want to, yes, it's very detailed because you need to analyze those. So you need to have a very detailed thing. You need to take pictures and keep it as a record about the progress. So today's one was a very short discussion on this particular thing. Do apply it on anyone whom you come across. You can apply it even with adults and see how they are, interacting. Unless and until you apply this method, you will not learn from it. Anyone else who would like to share? Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. May I?
Yes, please.
Can you see?
Not very clearly, but 1 second, I'll pin your video. Yes.
Yeah, and this is my drawing, and the story is this is a tale of a fox,
Okay.
and as he is unable to eat the grapes, he hide into the trees.
Okay. Okay. So who will tell me who's going to analyze this? Not analyze, who's going to initiate the session? Since I do a lot of analysis, I keep on saying analysis, but it's wrong. Don't use that. So who's going to initiate the session? So ma'am is the child here and someone become the counselor. If you allow ma'am, Sheetal ma'am, is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you please repeat the story?
Yeah, my story. This is a drawing. Can you see, Anushka?
Yes, I can.
And this is a tale of a fox. And as he is unable to eat his grapes, he hide into the woods, into the trees.
I don't know if I'm right or not, but like there are things in your life that you want to achieve or you're seeking for.
Anushka ma'am, 1 second. Sorry to interrupt you here. Do not start off the session that way. We are not analyzing anything. So whatever she told you, from there pick up certain things and let her talk. Your task would be to ask her to talk, not what you feel it is. Okay, we are not analyzing.
Okay, so do you like grapes?
Yeah, I love grapes.
Which one? The purple one that you drew? And what about the green ones?
No.
Not that much. Okay. And do you like fox?
No.
No, you don't? Are you scared of it?
Yeah.
Oh. And you like nature, I'm sure.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, that is nice.
Okay, I'll help you out. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Good start.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to try out? Sorry, we are making people, ma'am, the scapegoat here, Balika Bakra. But sorry for that. But anyone else?
Can I try?
would like to ask a question.
Okay, we'll take the questions a little later, 5 minutes more on this, and then we'll take the questions. Yes, Dolly, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Sheetal.
Can I see?
Hello.
You are done with the drawing?
Yeah.
Can I see it? Wow, looks so beautiful. You have used a lot of colors. Is it your favorite color?
Red.
Okay. And can you just tell me what you have written, the story?
It's a fox who
Okay.
hide in the trees because
Mm-hmm.
he's unable to eat his grapes.
Okay. So what I understood is your fox is hiding, right? And I just wonder what could be the reason why the fox is hiding? Is there any reason or why it could be?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't know why fox is hiding, right? And
No.
what else is there in that story? Grapes are there? Grapes is there?
Yeah. Grapes are
Mm.
there.
So the fox wants to eat the grapes, but he's not able to eat. And what
Hmm.
could be what the fox would be feeling right now? Because he wants to eat, but he's not able to eat.
Sad.
Sad. So the fox is so sad, no, feeling so sad.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It was excellent. Very good. Very well done, ma'am. So exactly the way we should be doing, she's assigning certain personal meanings to these objects, the grapes, the how the fox is feeling, and what is he doing, and what does he feel after doing that act. Like even after hiding, is the problem solved, or what can the fox do in order to,
Yeah.
do something else? So problem solving at this stage. So you have the different stages. If you actually see that something is going wrong somewhere, there is some problem in the story, engage the child in problem solving activities. The child himself or herself learns how to deal with actual situations. They start at least thinking. So excellent. Thank you both of you, Anushka ma'am and Dolly ma'am. Thanks a lot. So this is how you are going to connect the entire story, not by starting to analyze what I can see is this. No, that's a no for anyone, any age group. Okay. Initiate. Even if you see there are symbols, even if you see there are conflicts within the person, you're not supposed to tell them that. You're just going to be a guiding person for them. You guide them through their problem and they themselves find a solution. Okay, so this is a form of non-directive technique which we generally use in counseling settings. It's basically a blend method. You start off with a directive technique and then you move on to a non-directive approach where you are enabling the child to become empowered, finding out a solution. And for children, it's a matter of pride. If they can find a solution, they feel very good that yes, I'm able to help that fox. They relate to stories, that's why so much. Okay, yes, a few questions I can take for another 5 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I was just asking that you have already said about kids who were not able to tell about their problems. What about those kids who talk too much and they don't get, we cannot just get into the problem where he is or she is lying? How we will get into that?
If they talk too much, then also, you need to initiate. If it would be good if you initiate this activity, because then they can concretely tell you what's actually happening in their life. Whether it's a need for approval, because many a times people speak too much when there is a lot of anxiety within them, or someone is not approving them, they are not heard properly. Okay, so this activity will actually give you insights as to what the problem is.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So even hyperactive kids, when they're engaging in that swiggle activity, it kind of calms them down, and you can motivate them to continue. For them, you can ask them to color each of these blocks in different colors. That's also an activity which we do. Fine motor skill activity, which of course takes a lot of time and patience.
Dr. Ria, can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Because with this hyperactive kids, what I have seen, when they come to our room, so usually I make them sit on a mat. So that is their boundary. So otherwise, no,
Right.
they will keep moving around. So I will tell them initially, so this is the place. So I'll keep all the stuff there only. So that is like a boundary setting. So some with some kids initial the first session only I will start and it works. But with some kids it will take some time. So maybe after 1 or 2 sessions we have to start with that. So that is the one thing I have. That's very effective actually.
Yes. Absolutely. Giving them directions always helps. Maybe not in the first session itself, but then they learn how to remain within that boundary themselves. Thank you for sharing, ma'am.
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
Ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, can a child fabricate a story? Like, things may be going well, but at times they may actually like come up with lies and may cause more problems. Some children are really smart in that sense. They will try to fool you. They know what's happening. The maturity level is there, and they'll fabricate it. Can that happen?
Absolutely, ma'am. That can happen, and I've come across several children engaging in that. That's a sense of, as we say, self-pity. We kind of pity ourselves at certain points, and we start imagining certain things which other people may be causing us, and then we feel sad without actually having certain situations actually happening in our lives. So we engage in a lot of self-pity. That may be an indication, again, a strong indication that the child needs a lot of affection and attention from the parents especially.
Yeah, even in the fabricated
how
stories,
do
you
you
can
deal it
you
with
can
it?
pick their feelings actually.
Yes, absolutely. Pick up the feelings rather than symbol. Symbol is a
Yeah.
very different thing altogether in child therapy or drawing analysis and all. But if you pick up the feelings, you'll get a lot of answers. Maybe not in the first drawing. You can carry on with a few more activities. There are several activities to be done with the child. It's not only that one day I sit and I find all the solutions or all the answers which I'm looking for. It's never possible that way. It's a very, it's kind of a step up process. With each passing day, you'll get to know so many other things. Even if you've gone wrong with understanding, in the next session, you'll be able to understand where I went wrong and where I need to modify. Okay, so it's
Okay,
a
thank you.
continuous process rather than just
Yes,
one
I got
process.
it. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, yeah, what did you mean when you say to keep a track of time? Like when the counseling is happening, we need to keep a track of time.
No, not while the counseling is happening. When the activity starts and stops, you generally will have a time frame. Say, for instance, this should be taking you maybe a minute or two, or max to max 3 minutes to squiggle. 3 minutes is way too much. So a minute will be fine for just squiggling. But if a child keeps on doing it very slow, not ending it at all, or keep on going on doing it. So there are no boundaries. Those are kind of they don't have a track of time. They are not in the present. They are in their own world. They don't have a sense of time, especially in that middle childhood, where they know what time is. They have a concept of time. Okay, so those will be good indicators as to how their approach towards their everyday life is. Okay, so
Excuse me,
keeping a
ma'am?
track of the time, engaging in that activity, not your counseling session. I'm talking about the activity, how much time the child took. If it's too little, that means the child may be restless, quickly finishing off everything. Okay, not actually concentrating much. If it's too late, then maybe a lethargy in the child. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. If a
Yes,
child
ma'am.
has a language difficulty and he is not able to express it, what he has drawn, and the story is not able to say as a complete sentence, how we can proceed in that case?
If the child is not expressive, we have alternative therapies like sand play therapy, then puppets, and then we have a lot of coloring sheets where they fill up. They generally draw. What we do is drawing analysis. If you really want to go to the core psychological processes, if the child is non-verbal at all, maybe autistic children, what we do is do a very silent session, not too much of noise, because then they'll be triggered by these too much of stimuli around. So we do a quiet session. We do maybe a few puzzles. We handle dough. We encourage them to make maybe figures out of doors or symbols out of doors. So that time you need to analyze what's happening.
Okay.
In their drawings, through their symbols and what they are making.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, for these children, it is more like making them feel more wanted. Their encouragement is required. You don't need to basically understand what is wrong with their family, because more or less you can get an idea what they may be going through. So it is very important that along with say occupational therapy or special education, they get a support or a free space in your counseling room where they feel secured.
Okay.
In case of emergencies, they can approach you and feel more safe. So that's the ambience we need to create.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, draw
Yes,
a
ma'am.
person test, I think, intelligence test for kids.
Yes. Yes. Draw person test is generally for actually gauging the intelligence of the child. Understanding, a quick way of understanding without proper psychometric tests.
Ma'am, so for this activity, are there any stages which we have to see about?
You don't have to say anything. As we did the process, you just carry on that way. The stages, if we have to demarcate as a part of our learning, is observation, engagement, and exploration. I'll send you the PPT because I couldn't share the screen today. My phone got hung up. So what we do is I'll send you, not send you, it will be up on the website by end of day. Okay, so you can refer to that for your notes. So
Which
this,
website?
we have our website. I'll send you the link. I'm sending the link where everything is put up, so you can just go and check it.
Can the counselor do some informal assessments like learning or kind of thing? If a parent is reluctant to go for a proper test, so can we do?
We generally do it, ma'am. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to validate our observations.
Yeah.
If parents are also very reluctant and nobody supporting you, otherwise there is just a wall. But you may not tell them that yes, you have been doing this. There are informal methods as well, not psychometric tests. But of course, informal methods will give you a lot of cue into what's happening.
Can you share the methods, ma'am? Is it possible for you to share the informal methods?
I can give you a few names of the informal methods, maybe in the subsequent classes, but
Sure,
the details it would be very difficult to get.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so next class will be on Monday.
Okay, ma'am.
The timing would be a little different, 4:30. Monday 4:30 we are meeting, and we'll be engaging in some other activity. So basic supplies needed would be paper and crayons and whichever colors you have. So in the meanwhile, you can start applying this, whichever we did today. Start applying and see what are the patterns, what are the stories which people are coming up with. If you have 2-3 people doing it, you'll get a very clear idea of how to go about it.
Ma'am, you just told about observation, engagement, and what was the third one?
Observation, engagement, and the last one was exploration. Exploring what are the issues in the child, and then you go ahead with how you can problem solve. Or
Also exploring their feelings, right?
Yes, majorly we go by the feelings. That's the easiest way to go about. Okay, then thank you so much for joining in. We'll meet again on Monday, 4:30 p.m. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
ma'am. Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Good evening.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ria ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
In the last session, our participant has asked you about the checklist, and you said it's on a website. But I
Yes.
checked it again, but it's not there.
Mhm.
On a website.
It's not there on the website. Which checklist, ma'am? The counseling
On a day two,
day
we
two?
talk about the.
Yes. You will see there
Uh,
are two buttons. One is dark blue and one is light blue on the website.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll check again.
So those two buttons are for your downloads. Just check once. I'm still there. If you check
Actually,
on
complete
your
PPT was there, but only checklist
and
was
beside
missing.
that, no, the checklist is just beside it. There were two buttons, one dark blue and one light blue.
Okay, ma'am. I'll check it again. Thank you.
Yes. Welcome.
So, ma'am, is there any specific assignment for the weekend except for what you said about observation, exploring, and one more?
No, you can start doing this because that will give you a lot of insight. And whichever activities we'll be doing henceforth, you can take it up as an assignment, which you have to submit in the end.
Okay, but currently I'm not, working as a counselor, so I'm not sure how to go
Yeah, it's
about
okay.
it.
What you do is, if you're a student, then what you do is do it on your family members, one of your family members, write your own notes and your observation. I think that would do.
Okay, makes sense. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Anu Sela. I
Yes.
have done post-graduation diploma in guidance and counseling from Jamia University.
Okay.
So, is it necessary that MA in psychology is compulsory to be a counselor?
See, there are many controversies since we don't have any governing bodies over here. It would be very difficult to tell you, but